Good morning. This is the Blaine's World webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You get more information and listen to previous shows at our website, which is behind me, blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce my guest for today's show, and he is Francisco Chavez, LatinX Program Manager at Bounty and Soul. And Francisco, thanks for joining me. You can wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this.
Thank you for
So,
your invitation. I'm
okay,
glad that you
and
be able to join us.
give him a big wave. So anybody's watching this, they can see you. You can wave with your hand. You got it. That's Francisco. I should mention that Francisco Chavez is originally from Mexico and has been living in the United States for more than 22 years. He coordinates Bounty and Soul's Latino community activities, overseeing the weekly markets, providing fresh produce and other wholesome foods to those in need. He's a good friend and link to the community, connecting Spanish-speaking individuals to area resources and activities in the area. In addition, he's also an enthusiastic Zumba instructor, bringing a zest for life and healthy living to many. And so the first question, Francisco, I always ask is, as a kid, you grew up where?
I grew up in a very small town in Mexico. It's as many people, you're not choosing where you're born or where you've been raised. So, my family, it was very poor. It's a very small town. We basically have like three cars around that little town that we have, and so I grew up there with a lot of needs. I think that's where I come from, like for what I do and what I love to do, because when you grow up on this kind of places, your heart it's always into the community, so that they don't suffer the same thing that you've been suffer when you were a kid.
So when you were a kid growing up, did you like what did you know what you wanted to do when you got older, or how did you decide that?
My dad always wanted me to be attorney. But but always as myself, my dream it was to be a teacher.
Okay.
A teacher, like I don't know, just I don't know, teacher, just teaching something. I'm not sure what, but
Well, that's where the Zumba comes in, I guess. So you can,
yeah, a little bit, yeah,
but
absolutely.
even which is cool, and we'll talk about it in a second. But even what you're doing with the organization, you're teaching as well. You know, all the time, I guess you're teaching and helping people.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
That's how I coming into this organization, because I remember the 8 years ago. I was invited by being a swim instructor. I was invited to event over in Hendersonville, and that's where I met for the first time the founder of Bounty and Soul. And then so she comes to me after we perform, and then she's like, "Hey, I like the way your move and everything. I love your vibe, and I want to invite you to see if you want to make a classes for our nonprofit." And I say, as soon as she says nonprofit, I was like, "Oh yes, of course, I'm into. Tell me where, and I'll be there." And then I remember that I was very exciting about it because I've been trying to do these. I always in me, it's always like helping others, and somehow, some way before I stepped into this organization, I went and helped in different places, like in shelters. We went and cooked many times. I went to help in another places for the community. When I met Ali, experience, which is, big shout outs to her, to see me, for the first time, and then believe in me, and then says, I want you to come and teach a Zumba class for the community. And I was like, I was so into already. I was like, oh yeah, of course. And I remember that she told me like the date and time, and then I come in and do my first Zumba class after she invited me to come over. And then so I was doing two classes every week, but I never stepped into a Bounty Soul world until later.
now when you were before you stepped into the job with Bounty and Soul, what were you
Uh-huh.
doing?
So yeah, after a few years after I knew Bounding Soul, and I was just working because I was always busy. I was working two jobs in that moment, and but unfortunately in my jobs, I started like every person, they come to a first job, started from the bottom and learning and going and do things, and after uh 12 years working in that place, I kind of get tired. Every day was the same thing. I was not learning anything new. And so I kind of like, I had to the point that I was like, I kind of want to do something new, but I was kind of scared because learning something new is like I start all over again.
Sure.
So when I had the opportunity with Bounding Souls, they opened an opportunity to work with the team. And I remember it was like in the title that they were looking for, it was like I think it was a program assistant, which is they were going to be in charge with the kids programming and the Latino community program. But it was only like 30 hours to work with Bone and Soul. So my first thing when I saw this post job over the internet, I was like, did I qualify for that? I'm not sure, but I mean, I love to work with kids and do those things, but I don't have the experience. So, like I say, Ali, always, she's a huge. I admire her so much because she has this amazing heart on what she does, and she has everything. That's why we have such amazing organization, because she has the view of for the community and what to do for so she told me, she's like, I know you've been working with us as a Zoom instructor, and I like the way you're driving the community. It's something that I cannot teach nobody, and then you have it on you. So that's a good way. So I was like, so I got hiring or not? And she's like, well, you got to go through the process again, but I see you as a good person. So we need a good people to take this job, because you're going to work with the community. And I was so really, really exciting about it, because like I say, I didn't feel like I was worried, but I feel like I was very excited because I was doing something new, something that I wanted to do. And when she gave me the opportunity to join the team, um, I was very exciting. And so I started working with the kids programming. I remember it was like a COVID time, that it was just recently hit COVID. And so what we doing, it was just like, making things for the kids so they can take it home, because we don't have in-person markets. So it was like a drive-through market, so we just hand them vegetables boxes already pre-made, and then we give them this kind of like kids kit, so they can take it home and do something with, depends on the week that we were doing. Sometimes we have like a cooking things, like a banana muffin, and we put all the ingredients on that little bag, and then we put the instructions and everything, so the kids, if some family has kids, they will take that and then take it to home, and then they will working with the kids, like they can make a banana bread, or they can make a oatmeal, overnight oatmeal, and we put all the ingredients on that bag. And I remember that I have the best time of my life, just working and making those little things. Some of the weekends, like we have like an exercise week, like we making like a games, like memory games. It was just a lot of cool stuff that I was creating every week.
Let me jump in here then, Fernando. Then, for the benefit of folks who don't know, though, what Bounty and Soul is, could you just describe the organization overall? What is it?
So we're a nonprofit, and we are serving more like a free produce for the community. We are like a food bank. We're sharing fresh produce. We do all like good food, nothing like sugar or something that it's bad for you. It's all like fresh food as much as we can as possible. We also we just helping the community to eat a little bit more healthy. I think Bounty Soul believes and everybody needs to have access to free healthy food, and that's what we do.
And if you would describe the process then, so you guys are out in the community, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody hears about you, they have to sign up, they go in. How do they get access to this food?
Well, there's no sign up. I think everybody who wants to come in and get a box of vegetables, it's free to come. We don't ask questions. We don't do any things like that. We believe that if the people come, it comes with because they need it. Especially these times of year that it's so cold, and then people drive from miles away from to get a healthy a box from us. So that means, we don't asking questions no matter what car you drive, we don't know their situation. Maybe they have a nice car, but they have a really tough moment. They just lost their job or something, and we don't want to ask any of that question. So everybody's welcome to come and get these boxes for free.
And so, where do they go to get the boxes, and how do they get into the
We
look?
have, yeah, Bounty Soul has a website. So we have different markets around the Black Mountains, Swannanoa, and recently we just started going to Asheville. We have a schedule and Bounty Soul website. So you can visit our website. It's called bountysoul.org. And you can look at there, our schedule there. Every day we have different markets. Like just right today, we had the Latino market over in Swannanoa. We hosting around like 95 families today, and it was so cold, but it was people still coming out here and then join us for today's market. The same thing with yesterday. We have another market yesterday over Asheville. And all these places, all these times, you can find it on our website.
And one of the things I like about what you said is it seems like there's very little red tape they have to go through. They just come and show up, and do they have to sign up for anything or
No,
register?
no. Basically, which is the only questions that we ask is like how many people is on your household. That's all we ask. We don't ask any no more questions than that. There is one time a month we did asking a little bit more specifically questions like how many people in your household and how old are them, so we can kind of see how many people are on every house, how many people we help. If it's more older folks, we can start making like programs for older folks that they come in and join us. You see what I'm saying? It's like a data that we're using for all the what we do.
How do you know how much food to set aside or how many packets to put together?
How many? It depends on this data. Like every person to come and check with us and says, we're a family of five. This data we keep it, and we kind of knew like every market how many people we can probably have in every market that we've been hosted.
Now, what happened? Like I said, you mentioned before COVID, were you guys hit at all well, you were by the hurricane. Did that affect you?
Oh yes, and my location, right here where is the Bountiful Latino Community Center. It was flooded. The community come and helped me to get all the water out and clean up really good. And a little bit our warehouse get a little flooded, but we are we our really our management, it's really smart. Because we always thinking with the heart, and we always thinking about what in the future, like what's happening tomorrow, like what we can do tomorrow. One of the things that I'm very proud, the team, it's very think about the future and what's going to happen tomorrow, what are we going to need tomorrow. So that I think that's a really good way to have these in this kind of situation. It really helps a lot because I remember before the hurricane hits, we are sharing as much as food as we can, because one reason, we don't want the food go waste. and then we rather giving this to the community and says, okay, we have all this, and then the storm is about to hit. So make sure that you have some food at home. So we share mostly all that, but except the things that maybe we can keep it, like the items like onions, that it take more long to get bad, and it doesn't need a lot of refrigeration, sorry. So things like that we keep it on the side. Of course, we knew that the storm it was coming, so we left it and like a 5 pallets high. So that way, even if we got flooded, there won't be like, we'd be bad or anything like that. So we think in the future, like what's gonna happen. We might not happen that way. We thought, but we were like, we just want to take precautions. So that helps a lot because we become one of the first responders. We start bringing food with the people who need it the most on that time. As you know, all the communication it was shut down. We don't have power. We don't have anything, and the only thing what we have is just where we were knowledge and what we knew what was going to happen. So we are a very lucky to have these amazing volunteers, which is, thank you for all the volunteers to come and helping us every day. But those people are helping us uh, every single time as when the hurricane hits and they come into our warehouse, and even if there was no communications and nobody called them and says, hey, can you come in and help, they got it from there and go like, the community needs some help, and then I want to go at the Bounding Soul Hub and help. And I don't know that maybe they doing something, which is it was true, we were doing something, and then so they show up there and says how I can help. And so everybody start helping us, and it was just really amazing. And that's where it comes into these kind of situations that we don't know that it was going to happen. After I think about it, and there's a lot of people they still amazing and are still nice in this world, which is I love that.
If you would, Francisco, talk about two things. One, in terms of this week, for example, so you mentioned where you were today, tomorrow. Are you at a different location 5 days a week or 6 days a week, or how many days are you out?
Yeah, we do like a 5 or 6 days a week. I think we have different locations the community can go.
Okay, and that's every week. You kind of repeat
Every
this
week, yeah. Yeah, we
over and
don't
over.
change in locations. The when we have the schedule, we always show up no matter what. Unless it's really, really stormy, like really
Right.
snowing. Even sometimes in the rain, we are there. We are there. We find a way to be there because we know the community will show up and then they will need this food. So there's a lot of people they working hard every single day to try to provide this food for the community.
And talk about two things also, Francisco. So you
Mhm.
mentioned the food. Where do you get the food from?
Well, we used to have this food from Mana Food Bank.
Right.
Right now, as you know, Mana Food Bank unfortunately got flooded too, and all the hub and everything. So right now we have this food. We purchase this food because we have a lot of donations, or for the people who wants to donate, money, and all of that goes to the buying more food for the community. Everything what we have, like if there's an organization who wants to donate money for, we purchase all this food because unfortunately we have a different programs that we help on local farmers, but unfortunately, a lot of the places got flushed out, and then it's the a lot of the places got really contaminated. The soil got contaminated and everything. So they cannot grow anything anymore around local areas anymore. No, at least not right now. But hopefully that changes soon. But we've been purchasing all this food from different locations now.
And talking about the different locations you have and the people you work with, so it's obviously you, but how many people do you have? Like, let's talk about two kinds of things. Do you have any staffers, people who work for Bounty and Soul, and then talk about the role of volunteers in this? How does
Mhm.
that work?
Yeah, so we have like the staff members. we have a big crew right now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably like 17 people that work for Bounty Soul, and includes the drivers, includes everybody just like me that I'm in charge of the Bounty Soul Latino for the Latino communities, or or any other market. And we have a root and health programming person. We have our volunteer coordinator. We have so many people around this amazing organization. We also have a lot of volunteers. So anybody who wants to come in and volunteer with us, it's always welcome, and we always find a time for to come in and help. There's a lot of opportunities to come in and help and volunteer with us. You just got to go and visit our website and scroll down all the way down, and click on the link that we said that it's a volunteer link in there, and then just fill the application, and then we contact you back. Our volunteer coordinator will contact you back, and then give you all these opportunities, volunteer opportunities that we have. And who knows, maybe it's something that you might like it. Like, like some of the people like different things. Some people like to go to the markets and sharing these food. Some people, they just want to like be in the background. And some people, we used to have more like jobs, like to go into farms where, where we can go and pick up all these vegetables in the farms. And so just a lot of things, so a lot of different things.
So in terms of volunteers, who are you looking for as a volunteer? Is there like an age limit range you look for volunteers?
We have volunteers all the kind of ages. I mean, we don't have like really young like kids, but sometimes we have like a schoolers, like like a groups from school come in and do different projects, like love notes, like like things like that. Like we have these amazing notes that some volunteer did, and let's just write some positive notes that we can add it to the
Very
box.
nice.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of different things, that when you fill the volunteer application, our volunteer coordinator will tell you all those details about it, what opportunities you might, you know, can go through.
In terms of what you're looking for, so for example, you're the overall manager. Is there anything in particular you're looking for when somebody volunteers? What are you looking for?
Well, as a nonprofit, and then I see that we have amazing people coming over. I think everybody, and I include myself. The first time when that I go into and help, you always do it because you're feeling it in here in your heart, and we always have amazing people. We always want to treat the people fair. Sometimes we have a lot of people, and it can be stressful if you see a lot of people coming over and then try to taking care, like even vegetables and things like that. It can get a little overwhelming for some. But we have amazing people. They come in and volunteer with us. We don't look in specifically for someone to have skills, but if you have the heart, if you want to help, that's all it takes.
And talk about the other thing you do, which is kind of cool. So in addition to being the program manager, you also then teach Zumba. How does that work?
Yes, yes. That's how I met our founder. So these specifically thing that I do, it's called a Zumba, which is it's a dance, and it's a workout dance. So basically, it combines Latin rhythms. It can be anything. It can be just music. But since I was little, I always loved dancing. I always like music. And who doesn't love music? Everybody listen music when you're happy, when you're upset, when you're in love, when you wanna just be in peace, you listen music. So the music is it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's amazing when you're combine the music. If you have a passion for the music, and you wanna lose your stress, because this is a very stress reliever. Um, Also, it helps when you're working out, at the same time. So it's just kind of hiding some workouts things every time when we dancing. And then I always try to encourage the community, to just live and feel the music and be happy.
How do you learn Zumba?
Oof, it was tough because Zumba, a lot of people say that it was only for women's.
Right.
And then so I learned it because a friend of mine, he when I was much younger, he loves to go to dance at the disco, at the bar, and sometimes when you're driving at night and you go to the bar and go like, oh, we don't want to get ourselves in trouble, so the passion in the music is just always like that. So I have a friend of mine that he's always like to go and party, and that changed the day that he started to go at the first Zumba class. And then I can see that because I was working with him. And then so I was asking questions, and he's like, you should come, there's a lot of people that come in and dancing, and I don't feel like I need to go to party anymore because I party there with these people. And I was like, okay. So he told me a year, inviting me every single time, you should come, you should come. I said, yeah, later. I never had the chance to go until one day to I walking into where he was dancing, and then I can tell the difference when he was at work because I was working with him that he was very stressed. He was very stressed. He was very it's a very stressed job that we were doing, and every single time when he was up there, he was smiling. He was very happy. He was very hype. He was very moving. And then I remember that the first time I saw his face, and I was like, this is not the person that I'm working with. Sometimes he's a little grumpy, and then look at him. He's having a good time. He's working out, he's having a good time. And then so I went into and get myself into that. And thanks to him, obviously. And then as far as I know, I start falling in love into, and then I become a swim instructor.
So if folks want to check out Bounty and Soul for Zumba, is that a
Mhm.
regular schedule or are there certain
Yeah,
days
yeah.
times?
You can find our Zumba classes. It depends on what kind of age you are. We have two different rhythms. To have two different rhythms. I will say two different levels. So the schedule is on boundingsoul.org. But we have two different Zumba instructors. There's me and there is another Zumba instructors. To shout out to Tara. She's our Zumba instructor over Black Mountain. So she teach a low level, I will say low level that everybody can do it. Either including older folks, maybe can be a little bit more a slow dance, a slow workout, But I do the more exercise. I do the more hype, intense, or whatever you want to call it, the Zumba intense. But I do more workouts, and because a lot of people they follow me, they are kind of like much younger, and then so do a little slow. It's kind of boring for them. So I'm trying to make it people challenging about it, and so that we have two different classes. We are two different people, and you can join us if it depends on your level of you what kind of workout you want to do.
So if they work with you, they should be prepared to get a good workout. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, in a good way, because we're not like pointing you and says, "Hey, do 20 squats." No, no, no. It's like I will. You had to when you come in here, you had to feel it. You will feel it like like hey, it's something that I can do, and we never require like if we do in a squats, you had to go all the way down. It's like the way you feel your body. I don't know your body better than you. So I always telling my students, I say, if you do a squats all the way down, doesn't mean that you had to do all the way down. As long as you here and have a good time and then dancing, because dance or the Zumba, it's not about like who's the best dancer. It's about to forget about our problems, just having a good time, just work out, it's a group that we come in and work out and have a good time.
And
That's all I ask.
how long are the classes?
It's 1 hour.
Okay. So yeah, I'm getting tired just listening to this, saying maybe you had like a 15-minute course, I could stand that. Fernando, if folks want to find out more, then again, about two things.
Francisco.
I'm sorry, Francisco. If
Yeah.
if folks want to, I don't know where I got Fernando from. If folks want to find out more about the Bounty and Soul markets, then best bet again would be go to the website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And that
To our
again was what?
website, it's called bountyandsoul.org.
Okay. And they'll also get information about the markets and also the Zumba.
Mm-hmm.
Is the website in Spanish or?
Yeah, it's in English and it's in Spanish.
Okay,
You can
great.
do either way. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, I'd like thank you for being my guest, Francisco, on this edition of Blaine's World website. I'd also like to thank my producer, Cappy Cassetti. And
Mhm.
again, what you guys are doing is just fantastic. So keep it up. But I thank you very much.
Thank you for your invitation.
Okay, this is great. And I'd also like to thank my producer, Cappy Tassetti. And I should ask you one other thing, Francisco, about Cappy. You know her because she helps out Bounty and Soul as well. What does she do?
Yeah, she did. She bring us these amazing love notes. She creates this very artistic, and this is very, very, very good. Impact a lot of lives because it's a lot of positive notes. As again, this is very important, and we sharing all these notes to our community. Yeah, that
So,
helps a lot.
and so what's the, which is kind of cool. So the idea is they pick up the food and then they get one of these love notes as well.
Yes, yes. It's a pizza of somebody, like Copy. She make all these kind of cute things and she wants to share that love to somebody who's maybe down or who's maybe and her path is not really great right now. And just to have this piece, artist piece, it's just beautiful just to see something that it's a small but it's very, very kind. It
Very
says
nice. Anyway,
your
thanks,
love.
thanks again, Francisco. And again, thanks for all the good work you do in the community. You be well.
Thank you for your invitation.